YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I am going to be looking back at my 2015-2016 Barclays Premier League predictions video and basically going over what my predictions were compared to the actual predictions. And in the next video I am thinking about making a 2016-2017 BPL predictions video, and if you're looking for some more Barclays Premier League content from me, I am going to be starting FHS season tickets sometime in late August, and that will be featuring some soccer topics which I haven't been featuring in the past couple years. As you guys can see, I do have my Tottenham kit on right here, so supporting Tottenham, the club I do support. I've been supporting them since I was around 10 years old when I started watching soccer. Just absolutely loved Gareth Bale. He's what made me love the club, and I'm really excited for Tottenham this upcoming season. I'm excited with the signings that we have made. Not many, but still Janssen and Wanyama are very solid players. But enough talking about Tottenham Hotspur. Let's get into the video of me reacting to my predictions of last season's BPL. In 20th place, I thought that Norwich City would finish in 20th. They didn't have that solid of a team, and really it wasn't that bad of a prediction, as Norwich City did finish in 19th place, so that's a really solid prediction. But I had, Leicester City in 19th place, so, I mean, at least I had them ahead of one team. That's better than some people, right? In 18th, I did have Bournemouth just going down, and I actually do like Bournemouth a little bit. They are a pretty nice team, to be honest. Tottenham did beat them both times, I do believe, in the league last year. I remember when we beat them like 5-1. I remember watching that game. Really exciting game. I believe it was only our second win of the season. But Bournemouth did stay in the Barclays Premier League. They finished in 16th place, and that's really solid for them. They have really solid attack, even though they did lose Matt Ritchie. Getting Callum Wilson back could be huge for them next year. My first one right, and there aren't many that I got right. In 17th place, I did have Sunderland, and Sunderland barely did stay in the Barclays Premier League, something I think they will do this year. Probably finish around 16th, 15th, or 17th place once again, because I feel like Sunderland are always in the relegation battle, but they just always find a way to stay in the BPL. And then in 16th place, I did have Aston Villa. They did end up, unfortunately for them, finishing in 20th place. In 15th place, I did have Watford, and they finished in 13th, so a pretty solid prediction there. A newly promoted side, I definitely thought they would stay in the BPL, and they did stay in the BPL, but I'm not really sure why they sacked their manager, even though it appears that the club had some problems with just some club problems. I don't really know the full situation, as I'm not a Watford fan, but it seems like their fans are happy that he's gone, even though it doesn't make much sense to me. In 14th place, I have the second one that I do get right so far. It is West Brom, so that's pretty cool that I get my second team right. But in 13th place, I did have West Ham United finishing there, and they had a fantastic season, finishing in 7th place, a really solid season for the Hammers, and now they are moving into a new stadium, the Olympic Stadium, so that's great for them, and hopefully they can provide just some more solid football for London and improve the rivalry with Tottenham, because with Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, and also West Ham competing for European football, London has some great Barclays Premier League teams and should create some great rivalry games. In 12th, I did have Newcastle, and on paper, Newcastle at 12th place seems about right, but something just didn't click for them this year. They had to sack their manager, and I think he was part of the problem at Newcastle, but also they never really seemed to get results, except against my club, Tottenham, obviously. I was so mad when we lost our unbeaten streak the first game at home, and then don't even get me started about whatever happened that final game of the BPL season. I watched that in misery. That was probably the worst game I've ever watched, except for maybe when Liverpool came to the Lane in like 2014 or 2013 and absolutely smashed us. Those were probably the two worst games that I've ever seen live in Tottenham that were just so disappointing, but that game was very disappointing. Newcastle getting 6 points from us, so maybe without Newcastle in the BPL, Tottenham can have some more points. In 11th place, I did have Stoke City, a very reasonable expectation, but they did finish in 9th place, so a really solid season for Stoke City, and they did keep Marko Arnautovic. He was a great player for them this past season, and a 9th place finish for them in the upper half of the table was very solid for them. But then 10th place, I did have Crystal Palace, and they really fell off. They were looking really solid at the start of the year. A lot of people were buying into their hype, but something went wrong with them, and they ended up finishing in 15th place. In ninth place, I had Southampton, and they had a really solid season, finishing in sixth place, taking advantage of Liverpool and Chelsea not having the best of seasons, and they're going to be playing Europa League football this year, so that's really exciting for them. In eighth place, I did have Swansea City, and they were not that great in the BPL this year. They finished in 12th place, not horrible. I feel like they're always hovering around mid-table. Swansea and West Brom, I feel like you just never hear about them. Like, they're never in the news. They're always comfortable staying in the BPL. They're never in really tough relegation battles. And I feel like people almost forget about them because they're from Wales. In seventh place, I did have Everton, and Everton did finish in 11th place, right behind the top half of the table, and they did end up sacking their manager because they did have this disappointing of a season compared to preseason expectations. And then sixth place, I did have Liverpool. They did end up finishing in 8th place, a very disappointing season for Liverpool. And in fifth place, I had my Tottenham Hotspur, and we actually overachieved this year. I definitely think that we overachieved, finishing in third place. Second place would have been even better, but we had the youngest team in the BPL. Do not forget that. Everybody's hating on Tottenham, saying that we couldn't get done. We choked, finished third in a two-horse race. We had the youngest team in the BPL last season and returned every single member from our core starting 11, so that's absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited for this season, and we didn't have to go out like Manchester United and Manchester City and have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to potentially get a better team than us. We built this team through some smart transfer fees and also selling some players when we need to, and we really have developed a really solid team. I'm super happy that we do have the core players that we do have with our team right here, and I'm really happy with our transfer situation right now, and also where the club is going into a new stadium very soon, and also our deal with the NFL is absolutely massive. So I did pick us in 5th, and we did overachieve this year, so hopefully we can continue doing this and playing Champions League football, which is going to be absolutely massive. I'm super excited to finally get to see some Champions League football. This will be the first time that I have been supporting Tottenham, that I have been watching a lot of their games, that we will be in the Champions League. So that's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to watch some Champions League action. I do believe it is going to be at Wembley. I could be wrong about that, but I do think that Tottenham's Champions League games are going to be at Wembley. That's going to be absolutely crazy, and yeah, just super excited for the upcoming season. In 4th place, I had Manchester City, and they did finish in 4th place, even though at one point in the year, they were the clear favorites for the title, and then Leicester City just kept winning, and everybody thought they were going to fall off. I thought they were coming in 19th, but I have to say, once it got into January and it was Leicester City and Tottenham and Man City all around the title, I said that Leicester are definitely going to be finishing top 3, and I was very worried about them winning the title. So I guess I did kind of believe in them, but I picked them to finish in 19th. I can't say I saw anything coming. They're 5,000 to 1 odds. But in 3rd place, I did have Arsenal. This was looking like a great pick until Tottenham decided to lose to Newcastle by a lot. And then in 2nd place, I did have Chelsea. They were horrible this year, absolutely horrible, finishing in 10th place. That's horrible for Chelsea. They did sack their manager, Jose Mourinho, and now bringing in Conte is going to be very solid for Chelsea. I am thinking they're going to do some very big things this season. I did have Manchester United to win the title. Honestly, there wasn't any title pick last year that really made sense, and you could say, oh, well, even though I didn't get it right, I was still right. Like, Arsenal were out of the title race very early. No one in their right mind would have picked Tottenham. Chelsea finished in like 9th. Liverpool, Liverpool fans obviously think they're going to win the title most seasons. They finished in 8th, and then Manchester City finished in 4th. They fell way down in the table. United finished in 5th. Arsenal in 2nd, even though they were out of the title race pretty early. So yeah, there really wasn't any great title pick. I'm not going to say Manchester United was a good pick to win the title, but it definitely wasn't as bad as picking Chelsea, and it's not a great pick, but it's still not the worst. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people were making fun of me for picking Manchester United to win the title last year, where most of them picked Manchester City or Chelsea, who did just as bad, if not worse. So I'm not too mad about that prediction. Overall, I feel like I did okay considering how crazy last season was in the Barclays Premier League. It really was just a really wild year and really exciting to watch as a fan. This was probably my first real season of really paying attention to Barclays Premier League football. Last season, the season before this, I did watch a good amount of Tottenham games, probably about 15 to 20, but I didn't watch that many other BPL games. This year was the first real year where I would always be watching the BPL on the Saturday mornings here in America and also the Sunday mornings. That was really exciting getting to pay attention to the BPL for a whole year. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys cannot wait for my 2016-2017 BPL predictions and also some soccer on FHS season tickets, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more BPL coverage, FHS season tickets talking about the BPL, and let's talk Tottenham.